Miriam Cates.
I don't envy my government colleagues who have had to make such difficult decisions over the past few months. And whilst the first lockdown was drastic, it was justified by our lack of knowledge of the disease, how it spreads, and who it affects. And I commend the government for making rapid, bold decisions, and we must not forget just how much was achieved in such a short space of time. The expansion of testing capacity, the building of the Nightingale hospitals, the logistical achievement of delivering PPE to thousands of new locations, and of course huge packages of financial support. These are significant successes, and I take issue with those who fill the airways with a constant stream of negativity and criticism. No new challenge is met without bumps in the road, and to overcome we must observe, reflect, change, adapt and persevere. That is what this government has done. But there's no doubt that whilst the first lockdown slowed the spread of the virus, it caused huge damage to society. And that's why I so deeply regret that we must face such measures again, although from the data presented by my right honourable friend the Prime Minister, I do see that we must act. But I want to make 3 requests of my colleagues in government, for whom, as I have said, I do have the greatest of respect and admiration. Firstly, I would ask that we keep schools open in all circumstances. Unlike in March, we now know that COVID presents almost no danger to children. But missing out on education is dangerous. Not only have children fallen behind alarmingly, but the social and developmental costs to our children are huge. Secondly, I urge the government to use this second lockdown to make plans and preparations to avoid subsequent lockdowns, whether that's further expansion of the NHS, additional plans for shielding, further testing. We must make sure that we never have to take this action again. Lastly, I would ask that we begin a national conversation about our future response to the pandemic that is based not just on data, evidence or science, important though these things are, but based on morality and values. We have to face the fact that this virus may be circulating for years to come. We may never find an effective vaccine. Testing may never control the spread. In these circumstances, how will we respond? This disease primarily affects older people, yet young people will bear the economic costs, perhaps for the rest of their whole working lives. Right now, we must protect the NHS and save lives. But in the context of existing generational inequality, we must ask, is this morally acceptable in the long term? Over 500,000 people die each and every year in the UK. The majority of the people who have died this year have not died from COVID, but they have spent their final year separated from friends and family, unable to do what they love, watching their loved one lose jobs, businesses and opportunities. In the short term, this has been necessary, but for how much longer is it morally justifiable? Since the beginning of human history, gathering together has been essential for our well-being. In every religion and culture, festivals, meetings, family relationships are central to tradition because our relationships define us, and outside of relationships, we can't flourish. It's not good for man to be alone. Loneliness kills. Yet right now, many of us are alone. For how long is this morally acceptable? If this lockdown and our endeavours don't reduce the spread of the virus enough to permanently lift these restrictions, then we must seek a moral consensus for the way forward, not just a scientific one. As I said, I don't envy those with such a heavy responsibility at this time, and the nation owes them a huge debt of gratitude. But let's use this time to keep schools open, prepare ourselves further, and find a moral consensus for the way ahead.
Dr. Luke Evans.